Hey guys, it is Targon here doing a Raid Shadow Legends video, and today we are going to return to the Doom Tower. I got a little sidetracked with all the fusions and some other things people were asking me to do, and then real life also got busy, so I haven't kept up with the Doom Tower series the way that I wanted. But I want to get in here because the Frost Spider rotation, we've got 3 weeks left on this, and I really want to help you guys at least start making a push through hard. And maybe if you're really early on, getting through some of the layers in normal as well. Okay? So, uh, now this rotation, I have already done videos covering the first two bosses here, the Magma Dragon and the Nether Spider. I did videos of them when they were in a different rotation. They had different affinities then, but if you are looking for information on beating these two, check out my other videos and just kind of mix and match with the affinities. All right. So today we're going to focus on the third boss of this rotation, which is the Scarab King. All right. So the Scarab King, when he first came out, I had no idea how to beat him. He was kind of that boom, done. You don't know what to do. Over time, learned some strategies for beating him, and now he's actually one of the easier bosses to beat if you have a few things on your account that you can use. All right, there's like kind of a few ways to go about beating him, really. And we'll get into that in just a minute. But first, let's look at his kit. Okay, so when you come in, he's going to open with this skill, Vile Absorption. I think this is like a 3 or maybe a 4 turn cooldown. Um, but so he attacks all enemies, places an extra hit on each enemy for each buff that they have. Each extra hit steals one random buff from enemies that have no shields, removes one random buff from enemies under shield buffs, places True Fear on enemies who have buffs stolen, and Fear on enemies who have buffs removed. Okay, so right away this is nasty. If you come in and you throw a whole bunch of buffs up right away, you're gonna get clobbered, and then you've got True Fear going on, so that's going to be really tough to deal with. Then he's going to follow that up with his A1, attacks all enemies, places decrease attack, decrease speed for 2 turns, places an extra hit on enemies that have no shield buffs. The extra hit places provoke for 1 turn. All right, so just this in and of itself is kind of tough because he's got the fears and the provokes going on, so that's going to lock out some of your champions potentially if he's able to get these debuffs on you. All right, so it's good to bring in block debuffs or a cleanser. Doom Priest is again amazing for this. She is probably, like, as far as epics go, like the epic MVP of Doom Tower. Okay, especially for dealing with the bosses. All right, but wait, there's more. Um, I'll start with this part. So the Scarab King will counterattack anytime he's attacked by someone who does not have a shield buff on. So if you don't have shield buffs constantly, bam, bam, bam. And the nasty thing here is that he can provoke and get... so if you're bringing in a shield champion, if that shield champion gets provoked and isn't able to put their shield back up, well, now all of a sudden everybody's without their shield, and the counterattack just starts going over and over and over again, starts knocking out your team real quick. Okay. Then there's also this Spectral Horror passive, where it reduces the damage that the Scarab King takes based on how much their max HP has been decreased. So the damage is reduced by 90% if less than 10% of his max HP has been decreased. All right. As you decrease his max HP, you're going to start doing a lot more damage to him, so it speeds up as you go along. But for this, you're really going to want somebody who can decrease his max HP. I like to go with 2 champions that can do it, honestly. There are a handful of champions in game that have this as one of their skills, but really, realistically, the simplest way to do this is with a destroy set. So let's go in and look at some champions, and I'll just show you kind of the champions that I'm going to do. So Arminger is my personal favorite to run in a destroy set. on both this, which is my alt account, and my main account, I run Arminger in a destroy set. He's perfect. I love him. I use Arminger. I think I used him at floor 90 last round on my main account. Um, if I'm not mistaken, I may have switched it up. I'm pretty sure I used him. But Arminger is great because he has this lay to rest skill on a 2-turn cooldown. So this is like a nuke. It does damage based on enemy max HP. So this guy's got a lot of HP, so he's going to be doing damage. Now, it's not quite as high damage as Cold Heart's nuke is, but he cycles through it a lot faster, which is why I even prefer him to Cold Heart here just for that, because if as the max HP gets decreased more and more, he does more and more damage. So you come in, you use this nuke, drops his max HP a little bit, and then you use it again, and it drops it a bit more, and then you use it again, and now we're starting to hit a lot harder. So he cycles through this a lot faster. He drops the turn meter on his A1, which is amazing for this boss. So it's just drop turn meter, nuke, drop turn meter, nuke. And so he is perfect. And also, he's a defense-based champion. He's a lot easier to keep alive. He's not going to be taking a ton of damage. So I run him in a destroy set. I am also, for the sake of just not having to rebuild another champion, I'm going to use Vlad the Nightborn. All right. Now you can sub him for another epic champion or even a rare champion if you want, or a second Arminger in a destroy set is honestly going to do more damage. But I'm using him because he's built, and I didn't feel like building a second Arminger. Though for this, honestly, a second Arminger is going to probably be better because he kind of does the same stuff that Arminger would do in a destroy set anyway. But all he does is he decreases max HP on his A1. It also heals him, which is nice, so that helps him to stay alive. He's also able to place a leech, which is really nice for keeping everybody else up, but again, not necessary. If you were to bring someone in that can heal, like a Doom Priest, should be able to keep up with things for the most part, especially if you have shields in place. Vlad's also nice because he brings drop defense. But again, you can use other champions. You could throw Tyrell. You could use Stag Knight. There's plenty of other options that you could use in place of him. All right, so that's in terms of decreasing the max HP. For the shield, you're going to want a champion who can keep shields on you all the time. All right, so as far as epics go, really the best epic for this is going to be Lodric Falconheart. He has a 2-turn shield on a 2-turn cooldown. So what you can do is have him running fastest, and then he puts his shield up. That way everybody is attacking while they still have the shield on. That's kind of the simplest way. As far as rares, I wouldn't really recommend him for Doom Tower hard, but for Doom Tower normal, I think you could maybe try it on hard. Metal Shaper from the Lizard faction is a rare that also has a 2-turn cooldown with 2-turn shield buff. So he can be really useful in a pinch. Another option is you take someone who does really big shields, like Brogni, Valkyrie, like one of those legendaries that does huge shields. Usually those are on 3-turn cooldowns, but if you bring a buff extender, there's a handful of them, like Godseeker or Sandlash Survivor. There's a handful of others. Then they can extend that shield buff, might be able to cover you. The challenge is this boss is going to be doing a lot of things with stripping the buffs away, and if he keeps hitting you, then he's going to wear down those shields. So you're going to want someone who can reapply it regularly, ideally. But there's also a cheat code for this shield thing, and that is Blood Shield accessories. All right, so you get these by winning CVC battles. So this is where winning a CVC battle is actually valuable. All right, now for like on my main account, even on this one, like winning the CVC battle, like I have enough of these to get by. Early on, if you can win some CVC battles and get a few of these accessories, it's really going to help you out. Because what happens is your guys attack, and it puts a shield on them immediately. So you don't have to worry about the counterattack happening. All right, because the counterattack is really going to throw you off. So I highly recommend using your Blood Shield accessories on champions that you're going to be using for this. So I am using Doom Priest. Um, I am not running her in Relentless right now because I'm using her for Clan Boss. And I don't really feel like swapping it right now. We should do the job without it. But if you can put her in Relentless, that's the way to go with her for Doom Tower. I was hoping to use Sepulchre Sentinel, but I do not have an extra Blood Shield ring for her, so that can throw things off. I might try to use her with a Shielder. But so for the first, I'm going to show you how the Blood Shield accessories work. So I'm going to use Doom Priest. I'm going to use Stag Knight, and I'm bringing him in to drop attack and drop defense. That way the boss is not doing as much damage to me. I am going to use Arminger, as I said. And then I'm going to use 2 legendary champions that are very easy to replace. Like I said, Vlad, probably better to replace him with Arminger, a second Arminger if you want to build a second one. Or if you have another champion that hits hard and you want to throw a destroy set on them, they will easily take the place of Vlad. All right? And honestly, probably do it better. The other legendary I'm going to use for this is Duchess Lilitu. I know most of you probably don't have her, all right? But you can easily replace her with Sepulchre Sentinel. You're just going to want to make sure that she's got a shield on her all the time, and since I don't have another Blood Shield accessory, I can't do that. So Duchess, really, she shouldn't be required to revive anyone. Really, all I'm using her for is this block debuffs, all right? That's it. She places a shield on herself when she attacks, so I don't need to worry about the Scarab King counterattacking her. All right, so let's just go through and we're going to do this. And I'm just going to auto through this first wave. Should go pretty quick. And then I'm going to manual through the second because I want to make sure people have their skills available. And let's take these bad boys out, actually. I'm going to bring him down. Yeah, I don't want him locking out my skills. Go ahead and do this. These waves really aren't too tough, but you do want to try and make sure, especially if you're bringing in a shield champion, you need to make sure that the shield is ready to go. Unless you want to let the Scarab King attack first. But really, not having a shield can be problematic. All right, so we're going to have all of our skills. All right, so let's see. I'm actually going to put this on to decrease his turn meter. Now, so here's the skill is what he's going to use first. It's a 3-turn cooldown. So I don't want any buffs up on my team outside of a shield. And the Blood Shield accessories are great because he's just going to attack. And I'm not sure if he attacks a second time if he breaks through the shield. But so I'm going to go throw this on. I'm not going to put the increased attack because that's going to cause me to get hit again. So this is where strategy comes in. I'm going to just go ahead and nuke. And here's the bar that shows how much the max HP has been decreased by. So that was small. Didn't do a lot of damage, but that's going to start going up as this bar drops. Now really key, you don't want to throw your block debuffs up before this because then he's hitting extra time and stealing them. So I'm just going to do the A1. All right. So now he threw a True Fear on. So this is where having like a shield, like having the shielder can fall apart because if the True Fear goes on and they don't get their shields up, or if they get provoked, they don't get their shields up, right? So let's go ahead and do that. because I'm using the Blood Shield accessories, I don't need to worry about it. Doom Priest can do her thing. And now, let's see, I guess I'll go ahead and throw these up just to block some of those debuffs. Go ahead and nuke, let him get his turn in. And so now the debuffs are getting blocked, right? So this is throwing decreased attack and the decreased speed. And if there's no shields up, then it plays a provoke. So I want to try and avoid that as much as possible. So the big thing is not having all my buffs up when he goes to do this. I'm just going to throw it on auto for a minute. And I think on auto, Arminger is kind of geared to use his A1 a little bit more often. All right, so here, because this is coming in, I want to make sure that I'm not putting buffs on. I want to try and burn off all my buffs except for shield. Actually, I could have decreased turn meter there. This is also where having Doom Priest in is really nice because she can cleanse off everything. And we should be good to go on full auto here. And so you see now the damage numbers are going up quite a lot, and pretty soon you're going to see kind of like a shattering as his, there we go. So his shield just got broke. So now he's taking regular amount of damage. And there you saw, so Stag Knight took a provoke because the first hit broke through his shield. Right, so that's where if you are going with a shielder, you want to make sure that you have a big enough shield. So I was initially, I think, using Lodric before this, but I'm going to try and do a run with him and Sepulcher just to get you an idea. But I'm not sure if it's going to work because I think I need to get him with more health. And honestly, if you're going with a shielder, you're probably going to want to try and build some resist into him so that he can resist those debuffs, because if he does not get this skill up, then it's going to cause everything to fall apart. So if he gets provoked, then he's using his A1. He doesn't have a blood shield ring, so if his shield's gone, then there's going to be counterattacks happening. Your team just gets wiped out. All right, so this is all about building a team with enough synergy that you can kind of make it through. Let's just keep this team here. And I'm going to pause the video and I'll start it back up there so you can watch me get wiped out. All right, we are back at the boss. All right, so we'll see how this works. I'm not sure how this is going to work here because I don't really have Lodric built for this. So he's going to kind of do this and steal everything. So I'm actually going to need to wait to use my shield. And there we go with him getting feared. So now really everybody else has their blood shield rings except for Sepulcher. So I'm going to use her A2. Right, so this is going to throw the block debuffs. And she's great for this. If I had a blood shield ring, she would be perfect. Doom Priest was able to cleanse the fear off, which is what's going to allow me to now put a shield up so that she can kind of do her attack. And I'm actually going to just set it on auto. This will take a little bit longer because I do not have Vlad, so there's only one person doing the decrease max HP. And let's go ahead and do that. All right. So again, because this is coming up next, I have to be careful that I don't throw extra buffs on my team. All right, so Doom Priest didn't cleanse the fear. Let's hope. All right, got it off. Perfect. And actually, it'll probably work out okay because Sepulcher was going to use her A2, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use her A2. But you see, like, Arminger in a Destroy set is really doing fairly well in terms of bringing this down. So that's why he's just so good, because he does that little nuke there. And there you see, like, 7,000 against this boss. Like, 7,000's a lot when it's in a Destroy set and you're bringing down his max HP. All right, so there I had too many buffs on. I was not as careful, so he had that extra hit. But fortunately, we're able to get our shields back up, and now we're a go again. And just to speed things up, I highly recommend bringing in someone who can drop defense. Stagnite is perfect. It speeds up the waves, but it also lets you do a lot more damage to the boss. It doesn't seem like it at first because his damage is reduced by so much, but as you get going, I don't know if I wanted to do that. As you get going, then he's going to take a lot more damage here. So again, you got to just watch this. So even on auto with this team, I just have to be careful of that. And there we go. And I've been fortunate that the fears actually have not been affecting my team too much. So again, key is you have your shielder going faster than everybody else. That way they're able to cover them. And then you want to have a cleanser. Ideally, Doom Priest. Again, she's just so good for this because she can just cleanse off every turn. So that way you don't need to worry about her getting provoked or having fear up. You know, she does her cleanse, and all the debuffs are gone. All right, so that's really it in terms of the boss. So again, you can use Sepulcher. Shield champions can be a little bit harder to come by. Good ones anyways. Like I said, Metal Shaper would be a rare you can use. I know there's a few other epics, but most of them, actually, there's not a ton of epics that do team shields. So really your options are going to be somewhat limited. So keep an eye out for Lodric. He's a solid champion, especially like, you know, early, mid-game, you know, and even with progressing, Sacred Order, you know, Faction Wars, he can be a great champion. You know, some other champions that can do it, like I said, I mean, a bunch of legendaries do it, but there's not a ton non-legendaries that can do it. So, you know, keep an eye out for champions that do their AoE shields. Keep an eye out as well, if you're struggling with it, for champions like Sandlash Survivor that can extend the buff. So that way, if you get someone with a big shield on a 3-turn cooldown, you can extend it through. So that way it covers you for the full duration of that champion's cooldown. Otherwise, collect those blood shield accessories, even if it's garbage. Like, even if it's not going to help your champion. So like Arminger, even if it's not a defense ring or any defense stats, if it's a, you know, rare 5-star attack ring with attack substats, still you can put it on him just so that way he's getting a shield. So I don't sell those until I've got tons of them. So keep an eye out for those accessories. All right. So hope that you liked the video. Hope you're able to beat this boss now and you know, start progressing through the Doom Tower a little bit further and collecting some of the fragments for those awesome Doom Tower champions. All right. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave comments. I do try to respond to those as soon as I'm able. Obviously, if I start getting a ton of comments, don't take it personal. I might not be able to comment on everything, but definitely post your questions, and there's other people in the community that can also be helpful for you. So please like and subscribe to the channel. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you next time.